Hello, I'll make a short video about strumming, right? Strumming kind of with bass notes, maybe a little bit about strumming patterns, just keeping it simple and a few basics, right? So our basic kind of strum pattern, for this style of music we've been doing is more or less quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the simplest way to think about it, right? So I'm playing a G. But to give it some feel, I've been encouraging people to give it like a short strum and then a long strum. And I'm doing it in groups of 4 because the measure is coming forth. So that short strum, long strum would be kind of like this. And I'm just giving it, I don't want you to think about plucking a note and strumming. I just want you to think, because I don't want to change what the hands do, right? I'm just getting those top couple of notes of the chord. So that's quarter note. I could do an up down on the strum, right? Like an eighth note, that would be an eighth note pair if you care. Right, so that would make it, and it would be better for something slower, else it doesn't get too busy, but something like this, like short strum, down, up, right? That sounds pretty good, right? Gives it some structure, some form, right? Okay, so that's the basics, right? If you can do those two, get the feel of those two rhythms, you'll be able to do all the stuff that we play. But let's take it a step further, okay? Every note has a root, right? For a G chord, the root is G, and we like to think about the lowest G note in a chord, right? So I'm playing that G chord, that note right there is my root. Right, if I'm playing D, well, that open D string is my root. Right, if I'm playing C, that note, that's C, right? I sent out a little diagram with where the notes are, and know where those notes are, where the roots of the chord is. The A chord, the root is that open A string, okay? Know where those roots are, because then what really we're doing with that short strum is kind of getting that root note, right? Again, I don't want to think about plucking because I want to keep that strumming motion going. So I could think of that as hitting the bass note, the G, And then C. D. So I'm doing bass note, strum, right? Pretty much the same as the short strum. Sometimes I just explain it as a short strum because I don't want people to get too distracted by trying to hit that exact note, right? The feel is more important. Accuracy is important, of course, but the feel is more important with that kind of thing, okay? Okay, so now let's say you know where the bass notes are, the root for each of these chords. The next stage would be to trying to alternate between the root and the fifth. We've probably done this already. It sounds more complicated to talk about than to do probably. So here's my C, right? C chord, there's the C note. Well, the fifth is here when I move that finger to the G string. So when I do that, instead of that root strum, I'm going to go root strum, fifth strum, root strum, fifth strum. Everybody try that when everybody plays guitar, right? But then C, G, C, G. Right? And so once you know where the roots are for each chord, you try and know where the fifth is for each chord. And it's often the note on the next thickest string up, but it's not always that simple because G, there is no next string up, right? So the fifth for the G chord is at D, that open D. So the root fifth with the G chord is like this. And accuracy, it's nice, but the feel is more important, right? If I hit a wrong note, it doesn't matter because I'm just playing a note and a chord. And then D, here's the root, open D string, and the fifth is the open A string. chord, C chord, D chord, all right, give it a try, let me know what you think.